Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
25 weird things about life in Finland. American point of view.
I wonder where from America she's from.
She don't say it.
Maybe she'll say it in the video.
Let's talk about the social aspects. Number one, it's so quiet here.
Ooh,
it's like the default. It's just weird how quiet it is in different places in Finland. You can be in a mall and it's very quiet.
Quiet.
You can be on a bus and it's very quiet. And
yeah, Lithuanian malls are less quiet, more quiet than here, but that's because they're usually less crowded than here.
Oh.
I think you could achieve the same quiet because here they are quiet more. Like for example, 163rd Mall. When
but
you
that's
go
a
there,
dead mall.
It's a dead mall. It's quiet as fuck. But I'm just saying, it's more quiet because there's less people. I think. Maybe like just shopping is not as big as it is here. Well, you know, the consumerism culture, so you probably that's why it's just more quiet. But it is nice. I do like the quietness.
That's just normal here. But coming from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, there you
Atlanta,
go.
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, she's from a big city. You can't really compare Atlanta with, you know, in that sense. If she was from a small town, I don't think that would be weird to her.
Or places in the U.S., it is quite loud by default. So that was weird to me. Along with that comes the second weird thing is that there's not really any small talk with strangers in general. Of course, some people will talk to strangers and make conversation, but it's not a given. You should never expect that just because you're standing with someone on an elevator, you'll start talking with them about their day. Something else that's kind of weird about the social aspect.
Now, what is weird for me is that people do start talking to you when they're just standing in the elevator. That is weird. So I'm used to that. So
they're just trying to make friends.
Yeah, that is weird to me. I guess I'm used to it by now, but it was weird first coming here.
Is that you might not know your neighbors' names or people you've been talking to for a long time. So a lot of times at stores, even people don't really wear name tags with their names on it. And also, you might just not know someone's name even though you talk to them daily, you go to the same gym or something like that.
I mean, it's the same thing here, though. Why is that shocking to her? You just ask for their name if you don't know their name. I don't know how that
I think in passing, okay, that's not weird. But if you become like talking to, like having more of a conversation more than how are you doing, then you could know their name.
Yeah, you ask for the name. I don't understand why that is weird.
So that was kind of funny and weird too.
I guess she's more concerned about the name tags that she's mentioned. But
oh yeah, like at a store.
I never, I don't really care for the person's
I always
name.
look to see their names.
I don't. The only time you really need the name is to get into like an argument with them. You want to report them to the. Then that's really when you need a name.
No, because what we do sometimes is like it's nice when someone's helping you and you call them by their name, because then you see their face and you're like, oh, that's my name. Yes.
These antisocial qualities kind of start to dwindle when the weather gets warm outside. It's so funny seeing people come alive in the summertime, come alive when it starts to turn into spring. Yeah. And that's a weird but funny thing that the people kind of change during the seasons.
Yeah.
So
now when you're coming from like a place like Atlanta where there's like, you know, decent nice weather.
Minimal winter,
You know, you don't get you said this winter blues. I don't know what this winter blues is, but that would be interesting for me to see.
And this is the fifth weird thing, is how in a lot of households there are Moomin products. Like
what's that?
This Moomin mug I have.
Oh.
I love these now, but the weird thing about it is, like, if I were to compare this to the U.S., I would consider these like Disney characters. And that's not something just everyone has in their house. But here in Finland, it seems like almost everyone would have at least one thing that's Moomin. Whether it's
okay, she's not saying this, but she's saying it's just weird to her, I guess. So I get it.
That's different,
Yeah, it's just different.
Because then you'll go, why is this character on every little?
Yeah, that's just their
I'm
character.
To buy,
like,
or shirt I'm trying to buy, you know?
That's their character, you know.
Or a book, or a towel. This little girl and guy are quite popular here. It's like a household item. Next weird thing, when you walk into a Finnish house, there's often two doors. So, not like in the U.S. where we have a screen door and the proper door, but here there's like one door you walk in and then you're in a room, and then a second door.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm not actually sure
why.
That's where you take the shoes off. It's like you have
that's
at
nice.
least okay. So how we have it like.
Is it both lock?
You could. Doesn't have to, but you could.
Because what if someone's just waiting there, like?
No, because my grandparents is you enter and there's like a little bench to take your shoes. Like under the bench, maybe there's a little shoe rack. You take your shoes off. There's like you put the slippers on, whatever. That's kind of how it is.
I like that.
Because the reason that is because it gets really fucking muddy when the snow starts. Well, overall, it's just muddy. So you take the shoes off, you keep the mud in that room, so you don't bring the mud into the main room. I don't know. I guess I never noticed that being as a difference, but it is true now that I think about it.
But it's quite common in all houses that there's like this little effen and like this little room before you actually get into the house.
That's
also,
nice.
Centralized air conditioning and heating isn't really a thing in Finland, and that's kind of weird. For example, these heaters that are like lined up with the window, and that's how the home stays warm in the winter. And that's also why it's so hot in the summer, because our walls and windows are very good for insulating and keeping the heat in. But in the summer when it's hot, it also keeps the heat in. But yeah, it's not super common to have like air conditioning in the whole house, and that was a little weird when I came. Showers in Finland, I guess they're kind of practical, but a little bit weird how it's not like a raised shower or like a bathtub. It's just the whole bathroom floor. So when you shower, water kind of just goes everywhere, and you use this thing called, actually I don't know what it's called in Finnish or really in English, but I'll call it a squeegee that you like dry the floor with. Some people love having that kind of bathroom where it's all one.
That is interesting. We don't have that in Lithuania. That is interesting.
I want to go everywhere.
Oh yeah, it is interesting. No problem.
Floor, the shower's not really separate, but it's quite weird to me. Another weird thing about the homes are like having brand names in the house. So I was trying to compare it to the US, thinking, okay, what's some brand names that people even have in their house? And I couldn't really think of any brands that people have in their house, but
Samsung,
LG. I'm looking at LG TV right now. Like what?
Here in Finland, I feel like the brands are super
like
strong.
refrigerator.
You might have Iittala, dishware, or you might have Finlays and cloths, or you might have Moomin Products.
I mean, the towels, Ralph Lauren. No, but these are Finnish. She's saying Finnish.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean,
but then they would have Finnish brands in their home.
That's the brands they do have. That's what she's naming them. Yeah, I don't know why that's. I feel that's just pretty universal.
Cups. But yeah, I feel like in the US, there wasn't any specific brand that came to mind for like glassware or tablecloths or bedding. I don't know. So kind of weird that the brand.
Ralph Lauren.
She's not thinking of it.
Yeah, Ralph Lauren. I would say like towels, bedding, definitely Ralph Lauren. The dish.
It's probably because there's more variety here, so you're not thinking of one specific brand that jumps out to your mind.
Oh, that's a great point.
There is like brands that people associate for having in their homes.
That is a great point. I think what she's saying there is like not many brands, so those brands are really strong.
Yeah.
Versus here, you go to the store, there's 50 brands.
You can style to your preference.
Whatever you want. I think that's what kind of the point she's raising. Yeah.
Brands are so strong here for home items. So that's about maybe 9 or so weird things down. But let's move on to nature things. A lot of these weird things about nature are actually some of my favorite things now. And one of the weird things is how often and normal it is just to go to the forest. So the forest is somewhere you kind of just go to
every day,
relax, get a breath. It's somewhere you walk through to get to the store sometimes or your school. And it's also someplace I just invite friends, hey, want to go for a walk through the forest? Which is something I would have done in the U.S., like just a casual forest in the neighborhood. We're kind of...
To be fair, though, why it's not so popular here, it's a lot of more dangerous here in terms of wild animals. Okay, I can't speak from Finland, but Lithuania doesn't really have any wild animals that can attack you. Maybe a boar if it's like a little drunk, but that's about it. Ain't nobody attacking you. So you can go here, you go to a fucking forest, here in Florida, a panther can jump out at you, a snake, a gator, up north, a bear, a mountain lion. Like, it is no joke. The forest...
Especially if it's not like...
The forests here in America are no joke.
If it's not monitored or surveilled by an agency, a government agency or a private agency.
That's why the guns are kind of have to be legal here in the States, because if you want to go, you need a gun if you go to the forest, because you don't know who's going to come at you.
Not even, you need hunting gear.
Yeah, you need self-protect. Like, I think maybe a lot of Europeans don't understand that, like, but this is the fucking forest here are dangerous, yo. Like, it's not. Yeah, Lithuania, I would go every fucking day.
I think the scariest thing maybe in Europe is like the tick get into you.
Yes, ticks.
But
in
here
summertime,
it's like
in Lithuania would be ticks. Now, Finland, they have bears. Probably they're a little higher, so they have bears, probably wolves. But I don't think it's in those forests where the people walk, though. Maybe, but. Yeah, in Lithuania there was not animal to be afraid of.
Particularly in Florida, we have animal control. Because a lot of people like to drop off their exotics when they get out of hand and they just leave it in the forest. So it's quite
Fucking
unsafe.
gators and
Yeah,
shit,
so it's
yeah.
quite unsafe to just go casually to go foresting.
Yeah.
I thought the forests are a scary place, and that's where the scary people live. Weird at first, but now I love it, how much the forest is a part of daily life.
No, it is fun.
Also, in the forest, you can forage and eat things.
Yes.
So there's this thing called every man's rights, and it applies to a lot of different things in the forest that kind of regardless of where it is, besides private property.
Yep.
But regardless of where it is in the free space in the forest, you can eat berries and mushrooms and pick things,
You know,
and I think that's
interesting
really
enough, here in the States, they set it up as though that no fruits actually grow in the public spaces. Like, you're not gonna see a tree that bears apples unless it's on private property. If it's in public property, this tree does not bear any fruit. So we don't have this issue of, oh, you could just forage and eat.
That's not an issue, though.
Mm-hmm.
How is that an issue?
No, that we wouldn't have that as an issue. Like, they're saying in Finland they have a law that says every man have rights to eat off the land. Oftentimes, if there's fruit on the land, government agencies or private property are in control of that, which give limitations to the individual on what they can do with the fruit that they
No,
find.
I understand what you said, but you said the word issue as if it's a problem. It's not a problem.
cool and weird to think that you're just getting something from nature and being able to eat it. I think that's so cool, though. It's also weird but cool how no matter the season or the weather, people are always outside. So whether it's minus 20 degrees Celsius, whether it's raining, you still see people biking, walking to the store, carrying groceries,
and the dog don't
walking
need a
to their kids to
jacket.
school. Like, the weather doesn't stop people here.
I mean, of course.
And then we have the weird but amazing thing called midnight sun here in Finland in the summer, where the days are super bright for a long period of time, sometimes past midnight, even in the south of Finland. And that is amazing, but was very strange when I first came here. It's like, what? It's so bright inside the house, and it is 11 p.m. Then, on the flip side, the weird thing is in the winter, there is
that is so
no sun,
strange.
basically. We have really short days, and the sun doesn't rise
That's rough.
until like 9 or 10 o'clock, and it goes down.
I wonder what she does in Finland. Like, what she does for a living.
Out already around 3, so that was a weird and not so nice thing. Now, onto food. Number 15, weird thing about Finland. I have never seen a cheese slicer before I came to Finland. Again, maybe my family and my friend group and everyone I've ever met has never sliced cheese. But here, they have this thing called juustohylla.
Here, this is uncommon for us too. Usually, you either take a knife to slice this cheese, or it's already pre-sliced, packaged that way. But I never used this tool before.
We have them. Never used it because why would I buy it when I have a knife? But we do have them, I guess.
This thing makes it thinner.
I
Look
guess.
how thin the slices are.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I guess we really buy cheese pre-sliced, though. I don't remember last time we bought not sliced
or
cheese.
it's already pre-shredded.
Or
Pre-sliced,
shredded,
pre-shredded.
Yeah.
And if it's the block cheese, we use a knife. But then when you use the knife, you're getting the really thick slices.
You have to be like a really cheese connoisseur to
Yeah.
do this. I guess I'm not that, cheese connoisseur like that.
But I've always bought pre-sliced cheese. Weird but cool. Another weird thing is at lunchtime in Finland, there's a lot of great buffets for lunch, but there's no
I'm trying to think
soda
when we
often,
made
which
sandwiches, what cheese we using? Sliced cheese?
Sliced cheese, yeah.
Oh.
in the U.S. you kind of drink soda often for lunch and dinner.
They have the
But
paper
there's
on
actually
it.
milk for lunch, which is quite weird, and there's free refills on that, and free refills for coffee. But soda, not really at lunch, like a fountain, like the fountain drinks. But of course you can buy.
No, yeah, and you'll tell you too is juice. It's not soda. Soda really. You remember that juice that they showed in the other video?
In a bottle, but no free refills. Weird. Another thing about when you're eating out is that there's not a tipping culture. Weird but great. I already mentioned the soda refills, but that's also at dinner. So if you get a soda at dinner, it's quite weird that you can't get a refill of that. You have to pay if you want a refill of your soda. And
Do they give you like glass or is it in the cup?
Cup, or they give you the whole thing, the bottle.
Needs to be said by itself. There's almost always free coffee refills. So if you go to a cafe, if you go to lunch and you have dessert after, you have free refills of your coffee if it's just from the drip coffee. And weird but good. And the coffee culture here is so big, so it makes sense why people drink so much coffee, because they can just keep filling up their cups at restaurants over and over again. This should be weird thing number 20. But if not, let's see what number it is here. Now on to just being out and about. The weird things about life in Finland when you're out and about. One thing that's weird is when you're driving. In the US, we're allowed to turn right on a red light. In Finland, you can't turn right on a red light. That's fine.
Yeah, there has to be a green arrow for you to be like.
I don't mind that.
Only certain intersections, at least in Lithuania, only certain intersections have the green arrow to turn on.
Honestly, I don't mind that. I feel like that's less accidents.
No, I love it. It's a great way to not have to wait in traffic now.
Oh.
That's okay. But it was weird. When I would ask my husband, why aren't you turning? No one's coming. He's like, the light is red. So weird, but fine. When you're at grocery stores, you have to weigh the produce yourself and put a sticker on it and take it to the cashier when you check out. So that's something that was weird and you need to know of, or else you'll hold up the line at the grocery store.
That is interesting. Because here you do that if you do self-checkout. But if you're not, then...
You didn't weigh your produce ahead of time? Also at the grocery store
pay for food in weight.
Well, yeah.
That's interesting because usually you can just pay just for the product itself. Like it doesn't matter how much it weighs.
Well, certain foods, yeah, sure. Avocados, we do pay per unit, not per weight. Pineapples, watermelons, we pay per unit. But like, for example, grapes, we do weigh. So, it depends on the food. But there, yeah, you weigh everything there.
Strange that you won't find a lot of still water bottles. Like water bottles, you won't find a lot at the store, but you'll find a lot of sparkling water bottles. Which makes sense because the water here in Finland is so good that you don't really need to buy a bottle of filtered water. Just go to the sink and get your own water. Or bring your own bottle when you're traveling and fill it up in sinks.
I see.
So if you're looking for filtered bottled water at a store or gas station, you might not find it. It's hard to find. On the topic of grocery stores, in the US, you'll often find pharmacies inside the stores or the ability to buy medicine from a store. So if you need ibuprofen or Band-Aids or contact solution, you can get that from a grocery store. But here in Finland, it's weird that you can't get any of that stuff outside of a pharmacy. And oftentimes, pharmacies are separate than grocery stores. So if you have a headache, if you need a Band-Aid, if you need contact solution, you can't buy it from a grocery store. You have to go to a pharmacy.
Wow.
So it's a little weird and inconvenient, if I'm honest. But
really inconvenient.
Some pharmacies are in the groceries. Like if it's a bigger grocery store, they have a separate pharmacy. So
you go into that one.
Yeah, at least in Lithuania. But there's a lot of similarities I'm seeing though.
It's fine. Then another weird thing is the monopoly of Alko, which is the alcohol store in Finland. There's only one, which is interesting. And so in the US, there's, a bunch of different types of liquor stores owned by families, owned by other businesses, blah, blah, blah. You can find them anywhere, and they all have different names and different owners. But here in Finland, there's only one chain for alcohol stores called Alko. And then one thing that is weird and kind of kills me is the fact that there's no drive-through coffee shops in Finland that I found yet, or seen or heard of. So, again, it's great for culture.
That's a business idea for
slowing down. But if you want to get a coffee, you kind of have to park your car, go inside the coffee shop, and most likely just enjoy it there, or of course you get a to-go cup and get back in your car.
But then again, I think
that
it would
convenience
be
of being
out of the culture because if they get free refills, I think having coffee is something that you sit and enjoy rather take and go on the go. Because I think that's American culture to take coffee and then go. Whereas opposed to the Europeans.
I don't
know. I think Europeans like to sit and enjoy their coffee.
Then they have an option, but I think sometimes they would use the drive-thru.
I don't think so.
When we work, and like, ooh, I want a latte to go. Just drive through.
No, that's an American problem.
Drive through coffee shops in Finland yet. Well.
Interesting list. I like this video. It was a good video.
I think even for me, I would like to sit down and enjoy my coffee than take it to go.
I'm not saying nobody's forcing you to just have an option.
Yeah. So you would take your coffee to go?
If I have to go to work or something, I have 10 minutes. Yeah, I would just drive through.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord and the stories. Share as much kindness as possible.